Club Stakes. Of course, the mile race for 3-year-olds, and we have a very, very short prize favourite, Rich.
Yeah, we certainly do. In the stable, mate.
Into 5, and is $5.70. First event of the AJC Carnival. They're racing. And coming out a little bit tardily, Carew. He wasn't the best out. Hood showed early speed from Anchor Bolt. Carew starting to go forward into third spot. Proclaimer not all that far away, and so is Danza King in a nice forward spot as well. Then came Euphemism, followed further back by Proclaimer, now being shaded by Euphemism on the outside. Aldafra second last, and last of all is Shammer Dashing. At the halfway mark, the leader Anchor Bot, led out by 3/4 of a length. Hood is up running second. Carew behind them on the outside of Danza King. And then came Euphemism, who's running fifth, followed by Proclaimer. Aldafra starting to edge up now 3 wide, and Shammer Dashing still back last of all. They're preparing to turn, about 500 to go on the first of the day. And Anchor Bolt just in front of Hood on the outside. Danza King is next, and then came Carew. Euphemism and Aldafra starting their runs. Proclaimer had to wait for them to go. He's trying to push out, and Shammer Dashing at the back. It's Euphemism racing up to the lead with Aldafra. They've sprinted better than Hood, and they look like they'll fight it out, these two in front. Aldafra on the outside and Euphemism on the inside. They're toe-to-toe over the last 100 metres. Euphemism and Aldafra. Aldafra got the lead. First favourite salutes. Aldafra beat Euphemism. Tight for third, maybe Shammer Dashing from Hood. And then came Danza King, followed by Proclaimer, and then came Carew. And last in was Anchor Bolts.
Could well be 1, 2, 3 in the first of the day, the Jim Beam Carbine Club Stakes. Aldafra, Kathy O'Hara, she bided her time out the back of the field of Carbine Club, a long neck by 3 3/4 lengths, long neck 3 3/4 lengths.
Maybe Shammer Dashing from Hood.
It was $1.60 to $2.25. Guy Walter said, sweating up, no problem, that's him. Still wins.
Yeah, that was the thing, Bruce. I'll be honest, I backed him again when he went out the track, when he got out to $2.25. I just couldn't believe the price. But he was the best horse, Mark, and he's done a super job. And I think Guy's still keen to go to the Frank Packer Plate.
Yeah, well, he was probably down in grade yesterday, wasn't he? I think a lot of people did drop off him because of the way he paraded, but he's by Fu Peg, and normally they are up on the toe. They are MAD, that's right. So.
So the bloke has bought the 1.2 million by food.
Well, he's in for a good career anyway.
To be run, the runners are in the yard for the Darley TJ Smith Stakes for the sprinters, won in the past few years, of course, by Takeover Target and Apache Cat, who's been down there parading before the
number one Micmac now. There are the TAB prices there on screen: $3.90, $2.40 Hot Danish, and $4.60 Wanted. Let's go to the bookmakers board for the Darley TJ Smith. I'll tell you what's happening. We've now got a new favourite here for the Group 1, the first Group 1 of the day. Number one Micmac, $3.50, now into $3.40, outright favourite. Number Micmac, $3.50 bet, now $3.30. Sportingbet.com.au market mover is number one.
Stock missed the start from the inside. Patronym came out very fast and took up the early lead. Hot Danish racing up into second spot and Wanted Handy on the outside in third. Setting behind them is Micmac, followed by Melito. 2 or 3 lengths to Lord Tavistock and Metal Bender back last of all. They're not really going all that hard in the early stages. Patronym led by 3/4 on Hot Danish and Wanted sitting outside it in third spot. Micmac in a good position behind them fourth, and it's moved away from Melito, who's fifth, followed by Lord Tavistock, and Metal Bender, the stayer, back at the rear of the field, about 7 or 8 lengths off the lead, and the leader is Patronym. All these riders are steering away from the inside. Hot Danish outside it and Wanted at its quarters third. Then came the favourite Micmac, followed by Melito, Lord Tavistock and Metal Bender. Patronym stuck away at the top of the straight, led by 2 on Hot Danish. Wanted's coming right out towards the centre of the track. Micmac's going for a run in the middle, and then came Melito. Patronym still in front. On the outside, Hot Danish is about to get level. Danish put a head in front of Patronym. Down the outside, Melito is the blouser. It's Melito moving up to hit the lead, and Melito in an upset went on to win it from either Hot Danish or Micmac. And then came Wanted, followed by Patronym. Further back behind them, Metal Bender. And back at the rear with it was Lord Tavistock.
What a super race that was. The Darley TJ Smith. Melito, the winner for Blake Shin and Gerald Ryan. Gerald pulling the right rein, running her in the Group 1. She is now a Group 1 winner. Hot Danish. She
said he had a look at the noms. They are some of the best sprinters in the country. It's no easy task to take them on, beat them with a 3-year-old filly.
Well, I reckon she's promised to be it. Had it all wrong in the spring trying to make us stay. I said we would just get it back to the shorter journeys this time and back on top of the ground, unbeaten second up. Why not have a crack?
Well, as I say, it's been a while since Schnitzel is now is breeding perhaps Group 1 winners for you. But where does she rate with you?
I've always said she's probably the best 3-year-old filly I've ever had. I reckon she's the best 2-year-old filly I've ever had. But I don't know, I might have to start reassessing her now. But my main aim all this autumn was take on these horses in the all age. This race wasn't on the agenda. But I think we'll push to the all age, and if she can do it again, well, she's probably sitting up there, nearly one of the best we've had.
Well, no,
Of course, with the form around more joyous, and she was placed in the 1,000 guineas and the Wakeful.
Billy gets a valuable Group 1. She was an expensive buy, 600,000. She now a Group 1 winner. Only her third win. She beats Hot Danish again, runner-up for the third time in the Group 1. Micmac favourite, tried hard. It was a terrific sprint. Clearly the best horse on the day one, and it was trained by...
The ground yesterday, were you worried going into the race? Because she sort of really hasn't performed at a peak on wet ground before.
No, I wasn't worried there, and the track's even. And I think what brings her undone more in softish ground is when it starts changing underneath her feet.
Yeah.
But if a horse can get a grip and it's the same consistency all over, they tend to handle it well.
From day one with Melito, and she was your golden slipper filly. You've had plenty of top class horses, but you've always been something special with her.
Yeah, she has. Right from the first time I let her run along, I think that's special. She was really easy on the eye to watch gallop, and no, I thought she would have won a Group 1 before this.
You tried to make her a stayer, but that wasn't the case. But even that she was...
Yeah, things couldn't have worked out any better. She jumped well. Speed was quite sort of genuine, and I was going to have a 3-wide trail behind Wanted, but I just going a little bit quick, so I elected to come back probably a length and a half to follow Micmac. I was always confident throughout. She travelled fantastic. It's well documented she got a devastating turn of foot, and when I peeled her out, she quickened really nicely. Hot Danish is a hard horse to get past, but full credit to my filly, she's top class.
Patch and Ryan let him up and roll along nice. We had a nice sit on it. She gave a good kick and looked the winner, but unfortunately she was run down, but she never let anyone down. She tried extremely hard again, and fingers crossed she might crack one soon.
I was trying to get to the outside of Hot Danish, but he was just laying in a bit with me, and I didn't think he was going as well enough to win. But when I let him go back the inside of Hot Danish, he really hit the line. So having ridden the horse and know him a bit better, I think he's well on track, and I'm pleased to be on him in the age.
He just raced a bit flat, like everything.
I feel a little bit sorry for Hot Danish. So close again, but he had every chance. There was no excuses for any horse in the race. Lord,
it was. I don't think there were any bad rides in the race, but I think the ride on the winner was the difference between winning and losing, because she just got the peak spot there. And looking at the earlier races, I reckon there was a length advantage being in that lane where she come. There was a few winners that just come down that one little part of the track, and she was one of them. And she just sat off that speed, peeled to that part where the others wandered back into, I'd say, a length slower going. And it was a difference between winning and losing to my eye.
Inside.
You have a look at your head-ons. You're protecting your precious little track there all the time. You can't look at
protect
things.
any track.
You have a look at Yosei. She sticks off the fence or something.
She is by the end.
And you're saying she's coming along the fence.
It is at the end. Have a look at where she came from most of the straight.
At Royal Randwick, a big crowd in attendance. And talk more about whether Melito is actually going to go overseas, but that's a great coup for the connections of Melito. We're up to the Royal Palmer Stakes, another of the stakes races on the program, otherwise known this year as the Emirates Doncaster Prelude.
Yeah, very much a very 690, 670 Snappy Halo, and then down the board. 950 Rock Solid. Number 2, Brilliant Light, 7 into 550. Number 4, Gold Water, Water from the Gay Waterhouse stable. Number 4 is your sportingbet.com.au market mover. Number 4, Gold.
And the gates are back. They're off and racing. Sainthood and Glowlamp both a little bit hesitant at the start, and they're back near the tail. Brilliant Light came out very quickly and recouped the fortune going up on the outside to match it, and Gold Water's handy on the inside. In Academy, they go to the first bend, about 9.50 to run, and Goldwater held out the other one for the lead, recouped the fortune and leads by about 3/4. Brilliant Light tucked away third behind them. Then Snappy Halo, Glowlamp on the outside. Martin Place's saving ground on the rail. Kenny's Wells in that group, and so too is Emperor Bonaparte. Parfumi is taking off around the outside. He's going a long way from home, and then Lycean Academy is trying to get a trail up behind him. Stratchfly's got shuffled back to second last, and Sainthood's back at the rear. It's Goldwater just in front of Recoup the fortune, and again the riders steer away from the inside. Brilliant Lights 2 behind them, third, and then Glow Lamp, and then came Snappy Halo, and Parfumia's down the outside. Goldwater, it's just in front, but Recoup de Fortune comes up strongly on the outside, and Brilliant Lights a length and a half behind them, and Snappy Halo has the head of the others. Over the concluding stage, a Brilliant Light raced up with 100 metres to go. Goldwater on the inside comes back, but Brilliant Light will win the money, beat Goldwater, Snappy Halo third, then Recoup de Fortune. Sainthood made up some ground from the back from Martin Place, then Emperor Bonaparte, Kenny's World, Stratfly, Lycean Academy, Parfumia, and Glow Lamp has finished last of all.
Number 3, Brilliant Light, takes out the Emirates Doncaster Prelude. The Royal Palmer heading on to the Doncaster, 347 the numbers.
The seat, the top odds is very hard to get them over the line, 400 to 1.
Well, there'd be. At least we're there. We're there. 400 to 1. You won't get that on. You won't get that next week. So hopefully the boys are collecting.
When did you live with a live ticket at 400 to 1 in the Doncaster?
Absolutely right. He was sold at the English Weanling sale, $14,000. The classic sale.
He's won 6 of his last 7. He's got great tactical speed. Barriers help him put himself into the right spot. And the best part of this, Rich, you talking as a hunter here, is a big team of owners in this who have got a ticket with 400 to 1 on it.
You love fairy tales. I backed him once his preparation. It was at Newcastle. I can't believe it. Sometimes he's been beaten. He sat behind walking or dancing at a picnic in front. He puts himself there. There's no fuss about him, Mark, is it? Brilliant Light. And he tries. And the thing yesterday was he told the owners he can run a mile.
Yeah, I must admit I doubted him at a mile. I thought
So did Jay, I think.
I thought 1,500. He just fell in the other day, and I thought, that might pull him up. But he was strong there. He did get the right run, but he was still going past Goldwater, who's got some very good Group 1 form behind her. So, he might be a lightweight chance if he draws a good alley.
And I thought Snappy Halo's wrong.
He trains at Kemmler Grange in J4, Brilliant Light over Goldwater, Snappy Halo. What's he won now?
He's won 50% of all his races. I think he's won 7 from 14 now, and he just keeps amazing me, this horse. He keeps winning. He's in the Doncaster now. The owners have got 400 to 1, and they may well get a run for their money. Beautiful ride.
I reckon they will.
Yeah.
I reckon they will. He's absolutely genuine. He's enjoying. Obviously likes the 1,600 metres at Randwick. It may not be a Group 1 horse, but he's worth a chance. You certainly give him his chance.
Look, he's earned a crack. To my eyes.
Look, who you're just speaking about with Gerald Ryan, I can tell you, he's just firmed a half point. He got out at the $6 mark. He's now into $5.50. Number 2, Turak Top, as I said, all the money has been for him all week. He's been 8 into $6.50 on. They bet as much as $26 on Wednesday afternoon. Number 3, Skilled, the first of the 3 from the Peter Snowden Darley team, is $11. Continues to drift. He's now out to $3.70 now. More Strawberries. $26 Hidden Kisses, the Queenslander. Yosei, the Victorian, $15 out to $17 now for more money. $6 was bet. And that makes this caliper the sportingbet.com.au market mover. 1-800 of More Strawberries. Mark Sheen, I know you tipped us on the previous show when he was still huge odds. Turak Toff in the English size produce Group 1. Could you believe he's now 4 to 1 when as much as $26 was bet? Turak Toff.
No, it is unbelievable that he's come in so much. There does seem to be a swell of support away from these favourites to some extent to do it the 3 weeks in a row. And Turak Toff now into $5, and as you said, I think $26 bet earlier in the week. So he has come right in, and the support's come today as well. Jose missed the start. Scorus missed the start as well. Skill came out fast, and so did Turak Toff. And Black Ball starting to roll forward. So Black Ball, in fact, took the lead from Turak Toff and then came going forward. Skilled and More Strawberries right up on the speed today. In fact, she's vying for the lead, More Strawberries. Hinchinbrook going up behind it, followed by Legalistic. And at the head of the others next is Jose. Divorce is getting back to midfield, just over racing a touch. And so is Mafia Miss, 2 lengths to Gold Arena. And then Scorist, and last of all is Hidden Kisses. They run down the side past the 800 metres. Skilled just in front of the stablemate Black Ball. Hinchinbrook's come up along the fence into third spot, and then came More Strawberries, followed by Jose. Turak Toff is sitting in 6th spot, out a little bit wide, but with some cover. And then came Legalistic. Divorces is next, followed by Mafia Miss and Gold Arena. Hidden Kisses is next, and last of all is Scoros. Well, Hinchinbrook has saved every inch of ground to go through and put his head in front as they turn for home. It's Hinchinbrook just the leader from Skilled on the outside. outside and Jose. Then came Black Ball, More Strawberries looking for a run. Turek Toffers winding up down the centre of the track. Hinchinbrook is grabbed here by out wide on the track. Turek Toff, Jose getting up along the rail. It's Jose and Turek Toff putting their heads in front. On the outside, Turek Toff and Jose. The other two are coming back, and the centre Skilled is raising another effort. They hit the line photo. Jose or Skilled, who came again. Turek Toff and Hinchinbrook are in the photo for third. And then came Divorces, followed by More Strawberries. At the head of the others next, we had over the line Legalistic, followed further back by Black Ball. And then Hidden Kisses at the head of the others next. We had Mafia Miss, Gold Arena, and Scoristers last of all in a thrilling finish to the sires.
Wasn't it just? There were horses, chances all the way up the straight. It is between that is Skilled in the maroon colours and Jose on the inside. A bob of the head again.
Come off when Turek Toff loomed up, but his run just come to an end in the orange colours. This is very close. 3 Skilled. Jose, Michelle Payne gets there for Stuart Webb. 10 Jose wins, 3 Skilled, 1 hit.
With Michelle, this is something you've planned with this horse too, I think.
Oh, we didn't 2 months ago when we were going to Benalla. We were going to the pre-training centre at Rockmount on the way home. So she just kept stepping up and she's thrived since she's been here and just a great.
For Stu, his first Group 1, and Michelle, what a season she's had, winning with LA Wonder, of course.
Absolutely right.
Turek Toff and Hinchinbrook are in the photo.
Well, Michelle Payne becomes the first female to win a Group 1 race at Randwick, winning on the beautifully named Jose by Invincible Spirit out of a Japanese title, Fuji Fairy, and that means Bewitching Spirit in Japanese, and trained by Stuart Webb, a Group 1 for you. Stu, congratulations. Thanks for coming in. Mine there, because it was a terrific win at Benalla.
The 4.5 length win, that's right. Yeah. And the words of Robert Smurden, if they're winning, don't tip them out. Small 2-year-old fillies, that's, she's probably only a hand smaller than them now, or 3 or 4 inches, and next year she's probably going to be 2 hands smaller than them. So
you mentioned Robert and
from nowhere, she won a maiden at Benalla. Each time she stepped up, she sort of put her head in the door, and she's a little star. I love her.
Did you ever think she was the best horse again on the day one? I mean, in the inferior ground, as it turned out to be on the day?
I thought Michelle Payne made a very relevant point when she got there so easy on the turn. It was because they were all fanning that little bit she got there, but she never let go. Turek Toff went bang, and Michelle still hadn't really asked Jose or whatever it was, it wins, to go for the ultimate effort. And as Stewie said, she's not the biggest girl. Michelle just kept the balance. She just kept bobbing and bobbing and bobbing. They hit the line.
The big thing about that, of course, Michelle Payne, the first female jockey to win a Group 1 at Randwick.
Yeah, she's a great rider, Michelle. And look, this little filly, she's nothing to look at. She lacks scope and she's small, but what she lacks in size, she makes up for in heart, because she's a real trier, and she put the riding on the wall, and the Riesling had a previous start. And obviously, he's got a terrific idea, Stuart Webb. He's part of the Aquanita team now, and he's picked this filly up to win a Group 1 race. Skilled went well. He's by command, so you'd expect he'd get better at 3, and I think he'll even get better up to the mile in the Champagne Stakes. Really, of the others, Hinchinbrook pulled too hard, which is unusual for him. He's a horse that never usually gets on the bit. It was a race that lacks speed altogether there. Unusual for a 1,400-metre race at Randwick. Turek Toff, I thought he was a certainty coming up the rise. He had every possible hope. He chimed in and not good enough.
Well, he was heavily backed.
Well, it was $26.
Yeah.
$4.
Well, it was in at $4.80. I think he started at. So it was a big go on Turek Toff, and I think it came after the horse Sterling Grove that he defeated in South Australia at his previous start. Came out and won impressively.
Yes.
All the punters jumped on, but I don't think he lost any admirers, and I think he'll be a good live chance for the Champagne.
AJC Australian Derby Day here, the David Jones AJC Derby. Only 11 minutes away from start time. A lot of very nervous owners. Guineas winner for John O'Shea and Hugh Bowman. In's abrasive, Rich.
Yeah, very much so, Caroline. Dominates the market here in the feature. 13 out to $15. Number 2, Rock Classic. Bart Cummings, the Australian Guineas winner, $4.80 out to $5.50. Now out to $6. So he's just over a point. $5.50 to $6. The Randwick Guineas winner shootout. Extra zero. $31 and solid. The favourite's abrasive. Only eats 10 cents. $3.50. And getting out a still favourite. $3.80. Handsome Zulu at $18. Here's the money horse. $16 into $10. Count in Costa. 16 into 10. On Caroline, the money has come up at Sporting Bet, apparently in big bundles.
Not surprised that shot back on for you. One of the horses on the inside there. Not sure if it was maybe Home on a Wing might have had its leg there, but we'll see if we can show you that shot. Right on.
Count in Costa. Costa is out at 342. And missing the start was Saint in Costa. He's come out about 2 lengths behind them. Last of all, Extra Zero. Cedarburg began well. Rock Classics right up there in the early stages, and so is Desperado. There's some favourites. The Braves is going up underneath them into about 4th or 5th spot, followed by Suyama. Then Monaco Consul and Home on a Wing, followed by Sherpa Tenzing. Shootout settling behind them, followed by Keep the Peace, who's worked over onto the fence. Landlocked is further back, followed by Handsome Zulu. And Saint in Costa, after missing the start, will remain at the rear of the field. It's a dawdle in the early stages, and Cedarburg takes him to the 1800 in front. Rock Classic moving up to its quarters in second the back. In fact, he can cross the trot out because they're absolutely cantering. 1400 to go. Cedarburg a half on Rock Classic will probably be suited by the slow 2.5 to Sherpa Tenzing. The filly Keep the Pieces over on the inside from Shootout, who's a mile off the lead, and then came further back Saint in Costa, and then came Landlocked and Handsome Zulu last of all. Down the side in the Derby, 800 to go. Leader Cedarburg, Desperado straight up into second spot. Rock Classic behind them with Extra Zero. He's pulling his head off going around the outside. Zabraziv still poised in 5th spot. Then Home and a Wing and Monaco Consul. Some moves coming from the back now. Is Landlocked taking off. Suyama's in that group as well. Shootout looking for a run in the centre from Sherpa Tenzing. Keep the Peace. And Handsome Lulu is back last of all. Here they come in the Derby around the home turn. And Cedarburg and Rock Classic are headed by Desperado on the outside. Zabraziv got a bump, but now he's into the clear out after the leader. And then Extra Zero on the outside. Desperado led at the 200. Zabraziv a neck away coming up at his inside, and Shootouts into the clear. And storming home is Monaco Consul down the outside. Here's a thrilling Derby. Shootout, doesn't he love Ramwick? He hit the lead, and Shootout wins the Derby. Beat Desperado, Photo third, Monaco Consul or Zabraziv. And then a gap in the field after those to Extra Zero, followed by Home on a Wing. And then came Cedarburg, Saint in Costa, followed by Landlocked. And then at the head of the others next we had Handsome Zulu, Sherpa Tenzing, Keep the Peace. Rock Classic didn't stay, and last in was Suyama.
Shootout wins the 2010 David Jones AJC Derby for Stathy Katsitas. He relishes being back here at Randwick, loves the going, and, well, what a result. High Chaparral 1-2. He's beaten home number 8 Desperado. Wait on the photos.
Well, it's a Randwick horse.
Yeah, he is. He might be any sort of horse later on, but I think he's a dumb bugger at yet, so.
Wasn't entitled to win really again, John, because the tempo of the race was muddling and he gets back. But at least today, when he got back, he relaxed for you.
He relaxed, mate. He settled good, and the jockey was very, very positive before he went out on him today. So,
well, I've never heard
him, mate.
To win on an AJC Derby, what does it mean to you, Johnny?
Oh, terrific, mate. Big thrill. Like some great champions have won this race, and good trainers, So I feel pretty humble. Yeah.
Winner of the day.
Where he's coming for the 2010 season. First, second, and third.
It just goes to show horses for courses. He is a different horse at Randwick than he is at Rosehill Gardens. At Rosehill, he just gets a beat.
So she went out with great confidence in your chances today. But it's typical of you to be confident, but you knew this horse could stay and settle here.
Yeah, sometimes it might be a little bit overconfident. I try and hope that the horses feel that, but I knew I had the horse there today, and I just had to get him to relax, and I sort of was able to do that, but I'd like to see him relax a bit more. You'll see in the run he still pulled quite hard, but even though I was able to get him to relax a little bit, he still had that finish in him, and he's that good. Like he pulled for a lot of it, and still was too good for him. And only under hands and heels, he's very, very good.
Pacifiers off the horse. It cost $15,000 for Graham and Linda Huddy, who'll join us shortly. Clearly superior staying performance to beat Desperado and Monaco Consul. And John, it's the first time you've had a look at it, and it was a stout staying performance.
Yeah, I thought he had the race won at the 600 myself. I was happy with him then. So when you look at it here, too good, mate.
Don, was there any thought after the Rosehill Guineas to switch back to maybe the Doncaster as opposed to running in the Derby?
Yeah, we did. We did a lot of thinking about it, and there was one large man called Richard Callender that rang me that night and said, "You have a good think about this race." He said, "I've watched it a few times, the Rosehill Guineas. Don't be throwing the Derby away yet." He did, so that night. So I got to
don't give him a sling, whatever.
What odds did you have in the Derby, Rich? Well, a good horse ride. Parlour got to the Cups for you and was one of the leading chances.
It's real great staying type. Basically, just had to let him sort themselves out early. I didn't want to set him alight, and he travelled beautifully. Tried to make it a staying test from the 500, and he got beat by a pretty outstanding horse. He just sprinted a bit.
Getting back to Randwick with a bit of give out of the ground, and he finished it off strongly. The place was quite dawdling. If it had been more of a staying test, it probably would have suited him better.
Yeah, had a
Classic over race there. Richard seemed to be a bit of a tail with many of the beaten runners that the tempo was not with them.
Yeah, probably so. Look, I thought they all had their chance, though. It's hard to take anything away from the winner shootout. He's the one that's given them the start and also given them the beating. Monaco Consul just goes to show.
High Chaparral, the stallion, is signed the first 3 over the line. The Derby, that's just brilliant, isn't it? And shootout. Well, if there's no more deserving horse to have won, probably the premier 3-year-old race this autumn, because he has been the most consistent 3-year-old all autumn. And look, he may not end up as some Derby horses do. They may not end up a genuine 2,400 metre horse, but he's a bloody good horse.
Dewey on your boot now.
Yeah, one for me, none for them.
Yep.
What are we putting the Rosehill Guineas run down to then?
Just pulled too hard, like he had the pacifiers on then, and he pulled hard yesterday, but I was able to get him a little bit, where in the Rosehill Guineas, he had control of me. I had barely any control. He was just way too...
That suited him, just rolling on speed. He was the one that did settle the best in the race, and that paid dividends. Look, he kept grinding away. It was an excellent performance. The Monaco Consul, they ought to take his passport off him. He can't pass a runner in New Zealand, and every time he comes to Australia, he switches on his form. I can't work him out. And look, of the others, Rock Classic, well, he didn't stay. He ran up to his track work earlier in the week. And Zabrosiv, I feel, had his chance. I thought he was going to win at the 300, but the best horse won the race. There's no doubt about it, Graham.
Extra zero didn't.
Next racing coming up, we have, of course, the Chairman's Handicap, one of the big lead-ups for the Sydney Cup in 2 weeks' time. Richie, how's the betting going on course?
Yeah, well, the Caroline, the horse that you've told me about for so long as a stayer, and they've come for it, haven't they? The Bar Cummings runner. Let's go right down from the top of 5, but number 5 has been well back, Caroline, in those famous colours.
Before money there for precedence, 260 to 225. A minute away to 2,600 the distance for the Group 2 Chairman's Handicap. Here's Mark.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Yes, he was an impressive winner last start. In fact, they're away. Coming out slowly, Jessica Biel, but she didn't miss it too badly today. She was only about a length or two slowly away. Cape Cover going back to last of all. Precedence began well with No Wine, No Song. Golden Charmer and Inkster are up in handy spots early on. He's trying to restrain the favourite in behind something as they run down towards the judge the first time, and then Get Up Jude. Followed further back on the inside by Humaway and Harris Tweed, and then came the Embassy. Jessica Cover's still at the back, about 2 or 3 lengths away last of all. So Inkster on the inside has taken on here. Left, right and centre. Going up on the outside is Get Up Jude, and the Embassy sits outside of them 3 wide. Precedence is back 4th on the inside, and it looks like he'll come up inside Inkster as they near the turn. Then Golden Charmer, Rawinga. No Wine, No Song is running up onto the back of the leaders, and wider out on the track, Jessica Biel starting a run into the straight, and the leader is Inkster from Get Up Jude, and Jessica Biel is starting a run around the outside. Precedence down near the inside will need to pick up, and then came No Wine, No Song, but Jessica Biel has swept up and hit the lead. Harris Tweed runs to second. No Wine, No Song coming through on the inside, and then came Precedence, who's only battling, but Jessica Biel is clear with 100 metres to go, and Jessica Biel's going to take out the Chairman's in impressive fashion. Jessica Biel from No Wine, No Song and Harris Tweed. Tight for 4th, Precedence, who was disappointing in Cape Cover. Then came at the head of the others, Golden Charmer. Followed further back by Inkster, Get Up Jude, Humaway.
The Derby, but Jessica Biel, Jason Abrahams, John O'Shea and crew, they have been yelling here in the mounting yard. They've taken out the Chairman's Handicap.
Is held on and run. No, Cape Cover's run 4th, number 3, just in front of Precedence. So Cape Cover has got 3rd.
Quiet for the Sydney Cup. Craig Williams on Latorio. 52 kilos in the Sydney Cup. Got in when the weights were released, a 78 rater. That stayed. No Wine, No Song, who was good. Harris Tweed, who was good. Precedence, well, excusable for the ground, but is that the sort of run you want from
Cape Cover in the Sydney Cup? But the winner, she's always had the ability. She's been her own worst enemy, but when you miss a start in a staying race, it's not as bad as a 1200.
No, well,
Very consistent.
yeah, look, might be a dark horse. She's got a bit of a problem at the barriers where she walks out and doesn't want to show any interest for the first couple of 100 metres. But oh, geez, that's a good Sydney Cup trial to my eye. She admittedly she had 52 kilos and the opposition's got 58 and 59. But come Sydney Cup day, she probably stays on 52 and they only drop a kilo.
Yeah.
The opposition there, I like her.
I think she's a live
Sydney
chance.
Cup.
It wasn't a bad Sydney Cup trial, I have to admit. And I thought, though, Harris Tweed, if we get a wet track, I think he'll be right in the mix.
He looks to have had the right prep.
He's had the right prep, and he does.
To enjoy a great day's racing. 820 people, probably down on what the AJC would have wanted, I assume. We've got the Swans playing tonight. Lots happening around Sydney, but still 21,000 people turning out here to enjoy a great day's racing.
Most definitely, Caroline. It has been a Michelle Payne getting the Group 1 winner. Let's go to the last number one, Speedy Natalie, Peter Moody, Luke Nolan. $2.80 best price bet. She was into 260, just back to 270. She's the favourite. Now, number two, Status Quo's gone the other way, only just a little bit. Now $3.
Would have thought, but nevertheless, they've enjoyed a great day of racing with the Derby and a thrilling finish in the Sires. Miss Shamadale, Absolute Joy and Family Matters all jumped out quite well. Girl Friday's hurried out of the stalls to go up and put her head in front. And then Devoir, not all that far away, Spinnerwitch and Family Matters, followed by Ceviche, and then Status Quo's got over from a wide draw, only one off the fence going to midfield. And then came Free to Roam, followed by Foxstar Dariana. Speedy Natalie's going back into the field, still out a little bit closer. In the centre, Family Matters, Status Quo still midfield at the moment, followed by Free to Roam, Foxstar. Speedy Natalie taken out about 4 wide to start a run. Dariana's saving a lot of ground up near the paint, and then came Shadow Miss and Isola last. They start to sprint now. Girl Friday joined by Absolute Joy, and then came Spinnerwitch at the head of the others. Devoir, who's held up for a run on the back of the leaders, and further back behind them next as they turn, Spinnerwitch and Speedy Natalie's come fast down the outside. Status Quo's back about midfield and looks to be labouring, but Speedy Natalie went crash on the outside and took the lead. Shot away from Spinnerwitch and Ceviche. Status Quo was next, and then came Foxstar, but Speedy Natalie's a class above them over the concluding stages, and she is racing away for a big win. Status Quo will get up for second, Spinnerwitch third, then Ceviche and Foxstar, followed by Dariana at the head of the others. Isola, Absolute Joy, Devoir, Frida Roman, Miss Shamadel from Shadow Miss, and then came Family Matters. And last in was Girl Friday.
She's a very good filly. Number one, Speedy Natalie, Luke Nolan. Well, Peter Moody does so well with travelling his horses. 1, 2, 6 are the numbers. The winner out of a Brocco mare, Speedy Bell. 8 starts now, 3 wins she's had. And she won by 3 lengths, half length, where the margin's 205.
It's for Status Quo, but the win was simple for Speedy Natalie. She's been around the country, but she comes to Sydney in good form. And she clearly makes a case for herself alongside Faint Perfume and Valdemoro.
Not sure about the weights of this race going in. Speedy Natalie was probably thrown in there when got the same weight as some lesser performed horses after she'd won a Group 2. So she was probably advantaged in that regard. But she's done a good job because she's been to Adelaide, back to Melbourne and to Sydney. Peter Moody turned her out in impressive fashion yesterday. Good run from Status Quo. She seemed to lose the plot coming to the turn, but she's an improver. But hard to bag anything except the winner was too good, I should say.
Winner was too good. You'd still go on to the Oaks. Status Quo and also obviously Speedy Natalie. And I think they'll both be worthy challenges for Valdemoro and Faint Perfumer. The Oaks is building this year.
Famous combination again, Status Quo Spinnerwitch. This is the Speedy Natalie buck jumped in the race in Adelaide.
Yeah, in the Oaks there. But look, she's an athlete. She's in the mix now. It looked like Faint Perfume Valdemoro Faint Perfume, but she's in the mix. She settles. She's got a turn of speed. She's got a touch of quality. Listening to Noel, and he thinks she may be better on a wet tracks. I'm not so sure about that. I think she's with the other 2 fillies now, and what's going to be a terrific Oaks. It's going to be a terrific Oaks.
Nothing behind her in that race can win.
I wouldn't think so.
14 into 13, Bandar 19 into 16, Host to Lift and 13 to 14, Cash Cura 550 out to 650, Definite Choice at 51, 9's out, Lagerphone 21 back into 19, All Legal 41 to 26, No Respite $81, Star of Octagonal 440 to 480, Breeze up 40.
Last call. She wouldn't load. Racing, and that was a great dispatch. Star of Octagonal and Neeson were the best 2 into stride. Coming out nicely, Rarefied, settling over on the fence in 3rd spot, followed by Huster Leafton. Delago Bolt starting to pick up ground in the centre to be handy, followed by Bandar. Then came out to the side of the track. Neeson strode away and led by a length and a quarter, Star of Octagonal. Delago Bolt was next from Bandar, covering a little bit of ground, starting a run, and All Legal is back last of all. Well, Neeson's had all favours in front here. He's walked in the lead. Star of Octagonal outside him, going up on the inside as Rarefied to pick up ground on those leaders. Bandar still out wide from Definite Choice. Delago Bolt's held up for a run, and then came All Legal and No Respite. Neeson led up the rise. Star of Octagonal comes on strongly on the outside, and they sprint a little bit better than the others for the moment. Neeson just in front of Star of Octagonal. Delago Bolt was coming down the outside. Neeson and Star of Octagonal. Star of Octagonal gets his head in front, and Star of Octagonal goes on to beat Neeson and All Legal. A great run for third. Then Delago Bolt, followed by Definite Choice. At the head of the others, Rarefied, who was disappointing up the straight from our Billy Blue running on. Then came Kazkura.
Octagonal promising 3-year-old for Todd Hallett. Glenn Boss, well, he is now a group winner. He's taken out the South Pacific Classic, beating home up at the Scone yearling sales for just $23,000. Which
here for Todd.
Odds, and Once Were Wild at $12. We're going to take a shot
of the Australian turf. It is the AJC Oaks, this year's sponsor.
The market only 4 runners in single figures now. A little bit of support, and we'll get to that in a few moments' time. Righto, let's go down the board. This is the pattern up, and she's our Sporting Bet market mover. Number 2, Valdemoro. We see 330 to 360, but Caroline, according to Sporting Bet, she's their worst way.
Is now 940. So little off they go. And a beautiful dispatch there with shortly after the start, Valdemoro easing well back towards the tail of the field. And Little Surfer Girl went out very quickly and took the lead from Once Were Wild and Slapstick. Ceviche, the boulder, going up on the inside into a handy spot. Then came Run for Nara, followed by Mirasalo, who's getting up on the bridle in the early stages. Then came Absolute Faith, followed by Speedy Natalie. Well back behind them next is Smart Lady. Faint Perfume is second last, and Valdemoro, surprisingly, is on the back of Faint Perfume in last position. So as they run to the 1,800 metres, the leader Once Were Wild now taking over. Faint Perfume on the outside of Speedy Natalie, and Valdemoro is tracking Faint Perfume every step of the way as they run to the side of the track, inside the 1,000 up to the 9. Slapstick the leader, a length and a half on Once Were Wild, who's given a little bit more rain to go closer. Run for Nara tracking them third from Little Surfer Girl, and then came Ceviche on the inside of Absolute Faith. Smart Lady starting to take closer order, so is Mirasalo. Speedy Natalie going up on the inside. Faint Perfume is second last, and Valdemoro is 2 lengths behind it. It's Slapstick the leader with Once Were Wild going up on the outside to eyeball it. Run for Nara's only a length and a half away, striding into it strongly. Then Little Surfer Girl at the head of the others. Next we've got Absolute Faith and Ceviche, and looking for Run Speedy Natalie. Faint Perfume. Valdemoro is out of business, and Once Were Wild said, "Ta-da, I'll see you later." It raced away about 4 lengths in front of Run for Nara. Faint Perfume is coming down the outside. She might have given away too much start, however. She's chasing valiantly, but Once Were Wild fenced the Oaks. Once Were Wild wins it from Faint Perfume. Run for Nara got third, close for 4, Speedy Natalie or Absolute Faith, and then came in behind them Slapstick. Valdemoro did nothing at all. At the head of the others next we had Mirasalo, Ceviche, and then came Little Surfer Girl, and Smart Ladies finished last of all.
Gay Waterhouse does it again. A Group 1, the AJC Oaks to Gay Waterhouse, and Nashua Willa, number 8, Once Were Wild. This lightly raced filly has taken...
It's going too slowly, and Duncan Grimley was sitting beside me going chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. So, you know, I was delighted. She's a filly that started in a first prep. No, it's not a bad effort, is it?
Fantastic. I mean, that little
paper tomorrow. And John Singleton too, for racing is concerned. We'll see front and back page of the paper tomorrow. And John Singleton too, congratulations to him and his Strawberry Hill stud since
Billy, and you know, we probably outsmarted ourselves last start trying to make it a staying test, and I found myself under pressure from the 600, which isn't her go. You know, like today she just got into a lovely rhythm and.
Or Absolute.
Won the Oaks, absolutely walked in. The daughter of Johannesburg, cost 50,000 for Singo, way too cheap for Singo filly, isn't it? Once Were Wild betting. Faint Perfume, who was fantastic. Run for Nara, good. And Valdemoro, I've got a couple of emails over it, but it went poorly. Mark Sheehan, join us. How are you, Mark?
Good, mate. Sorry I'm late. Give me the Tuesday Joy Bank the Fortune race where the back markers and the favourites were right out the back and out of business, and the on paces were too good, and we saw it again with Once Were Wild, beautifully rated ride by Nash.
What do you think, Nash? I mean, you haven't got rear view mirrors. You can't see what the favourites are doing, but you must have felt pretty sweet during the run. The tempo you were able to maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, she got into a lovely rhythm from the time we left the barrier. She's actually been a filly that it's taken a little while early in her races to sort of get out of the gates and get rolling, and
to Singo for what they've done with the Gut Foundation, wearing those colours throughout the carnival for charity.
Absolutely. I think they stand out better than the other ones, actually. I don't mind it.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. You know, her pattern is to get back and run on, and they just didn't go quite as fast as what I would have liked. But, you know, you can't take anything away from her. She went fantastic.
She did run well. It was no surprise. Would have liked the ground a little bit firmer than it is. But, look, no excuses. Winner was too good.
Yeah, she had the perfect run, and you know, she's run terrific. She stayed the trip. I think she's just touched it last week. She just didn't quite find a line like she did last week. So I think that run made her flatten her for her this week. But that was unfortunate because of what happened in Adelaide. So, but she ran well enough.
Initially, thought maybe we might go forward, but I was Tony sort of instructed me to go back and follow Faint Perfume. The speed wasn't as slow as we all thought on paper. We thought it'd develop into a sprint home, but you know, she sort of wobbled around the turn, balanced up, but just never come into the race. Was never a factor right from the time sort of we settled down, really.
She was beaten too far too, wasn't she?
Well, she was. Look, like I said.
Morris? No, well, I think she was just too far back. Didn't get anything to drag her into the race. He got on the back at 200 to 1 chances, which were going nowhere, and I think the race was over by the time he got out, basically.
Yeah, there was a lot of horses that had no hope in the race.
There was Moro, where he had to explain it again to stewards. Had a couple of emails on that. Matt Atkinson sent one through saying he was dumbfounded with the tactics. Rich, I think they were well explained there by Blake, and spoke to Tony as well. But the horse just didn't fire anyway.
Yeah, look, I think the tactics were wrong, but that was irrelevant. She went awful. He couldn't get past anyone. I don't know what it is, but maybe the run in the vinery just flattened her because she was most disappointed. Even when she settled down, she seemed to travel okay, but the others quickened and she had nothing there to go with.
But she didn't look right. I thought she paraded pretty ordinary. She looked dead in the coat and got a bit
One for Nara.
Well, that was the real Once Were Wild. She was, honestly, she was carved up last time. She I don't know what they were thinking tactically last time when they took off at the 1,000 there, and she was just gassed. She obviously recovered from that. Blinkers off, settled beautifully, used that sprint at the right time. And like I say, she was the big spruik horse before the Storm Queen last time. And look, she's recovered from that. It's amazing when you teach these horses to race on the speed, how many favours you can get. Look, these two favourites were back there staring at each other.
Throw in
Speedy Natalie as well.
Speedy Natalie as well.
More so the top two. This has reminded me of 2007, where Tuesday Joy and Bank de Fortune were back in the ruck looking at each other, and they looked up, and Rena's Ladies 15 lengths in front.
No hope of catching it.
No hope at all. So
it's exactly
you've got
what
to be
happened.
very careful with these 3-year-old fillies staying races because they trot and canter, and these fillies with a bit of ping leave them no chance.
Well, that's getting preconceived ideas. You see, they all had in their head that there was only 3 horses in the race, so they're all going to sit there and watch each other, which they did. They watched each other at the back of the field, and as you said, the Rena's Lady, which was once a while, took off in front. Game over.
I think Rod was waiting for Shin to make a move on Valdemoro, which was the first shock, her going back. In saying that, Valdemoro was as flat as a tack, so she had hardly an excuse. She didn't perform at all there. But look, Faint Perfume left it far too late there, far too late.
The Emirates Doncaster, $1.5 million, the big feature race here on the program today.
And a big promotion today, winner $50,000 free bet and Vidya. Krishna Kumar's won it. Congratulations, Vidya. Now tell us who you've backed.
Typhoon Tracy.
On what grounds?
One Thesio, Darren Beeman, $18 into $17. Number 2, Dan Lee, out to $8, friendless in the past 48 hours. Typhoon Tracy, best price bet $3.60, now $3.50. Black Piranha, 31 and solid. Ringy Ring Do at $6.50 and rock solid. 100 to 1 Vision and Power. Road to Rock at $26. We go at Light, $16. 91 Miss Marielle, 31 Centennial Park. We then go down to Palazzo de Crystal, $12 out to $13. Drum Beats, $61. 41 for Prima Nova.
Favourite. This carries a $50,000 free bet as well, the TRB Sports Bet. Is that a mock?
She might buy a share in a horse if she wins. I'll have to meet this lady.
Good luck. Peter, talk to Graham about the way the track's racing. It's certainly a big plus for you.
Yeah, well, the on-pacers, seem to have had their way today, whether they're the best horses have been there. That
5 Group 1s in a row, Rich, and she's the horse they've got to beat. Typhoon Tracy, what price?
Yeah, well, she's been well back, Clarkie. I just spoke to the boys at Sporting Bet. She's a clear-cut market mover. They've really come for the girl. Let's go to the top. Crash Bang Wallop now into $3.20. She's your market mover, the Papa 41.
St Mare Typhoon Tracy, only Apache Cat in recent years has won 5 Group 1s in succession. She looks in magnificent order. The turf take out the Emirates Doncaster Mile. Right on start time. Here's Mark for what will be a very exciting call.
Okay, thanks very much, Caroline. And they're taking good shape with LA Wonder and Thesio about to move in. Now, Tabeek's coming up ahead of Recoup de Fortune. And they're off and racing. And a perfect dispatch. Palacio de Crystal got squeezed out shortly after the start, and the favourite Typhoon Tracy came out very quickly. And she's got the early lead. Going up, Miss Mariel, Mentality, and Rangi Rangdu. Thesio from that wide alley is starting to roll forward. Not all that far away, Recoup de Fortune, and then came Brilliant Light, working into a spot just behind them. Followed over on the inside by Wall Street and Snappy Halo. Drumbeats is midfield, followed by Triple Honour. Over on the inside is Road to Rock, followed by LA Wonder. Palacio de Crystal starting to sneak up along the rail to save some ground in that group as well as they run round the first bend, Centennial Park. Then Tabeek, followed further back by Black Piranha. Danley seemed to get a little bit of a check there, followed by Vision and Power, and last of all is Prima Nova. It's Recoup de Fortune moving up to hit the front at the halfway mark, a half a length in advance of Miss Marielle. Then came Thessia running third, Typhoon Tracy poised behind them fourth. Brilliant Light is making ground, but he's been wide from the time they've jumped, and then came Mentality. Rangi Rangdu stalking the leaders as they come to the turn, followed by Drumbeats and Road to Rock, Snappy Halo, and Palacio de Crystal is saving ground along the inside as they run for home now in the Doncaster Mile, and Recoup de Fortune has taken over clearly and run to the lead from Miss Marielle. Thesio is joining with Brilliant Light, Typhoon Tracy only labouring, going up on the inside, Road to Rock, and Rangi Rangdu is joining in on the outside. Is it his day-to-day? It's Road to Rock and Rangi Rangdu fighting it out. Rangi Rangdu on the outsiders in front, and Rangi Rangdu gets his Group 1. Beat Road to Rock, Brilliant Light third from Drumbeats. And then Dan Lee, followed by Snappy Halo, and then Triple Honour, followed by Tabeek, and then came Palacio de Crystal. At the head of the others, Thesio. Then came Vision and Power, followed by Wall Street. Well back was Prima Nova. Then came Miss Marielle, Black Piranha. Typhoon Tracy wasn't up to the task, and then Recoup de Fortune, Centennial Park, LA Wonder. And last in was Mentality.
Nasrawilla right up out of the irons there on Rangi Rangdu. The owners and Chris Waller kept him to the ride, and, well, they'll all be pretty thankful of that. There he is, riding for dear life. Number 5, the winner, Rangi Rangdu of the Emirates Doncaster for 2010. Well done to Chris Waller, preparing this horse for his Group 1 success. Second, number...
You came here forward to get, and you've got it.
We sure have, Bruce. A little bit emotional, but no, great week and good jockey to have aboard and great staff behind me. So just unbelievable.
And it's a race you plan for this horse, and today just panned out beautifully. Just watching the race, you can see Nash just taking his time through it all.
I think you saw more than I did. Just watched up there and was lucky spot. And yeah, I'll go home and watch it tonight and enjoy it.
Come on, Steph, you can get in the photo 48 hours with having to go to court and all that.
That was nothing. And Gay had to do what she had to do. And no, it was no interruption whatsoever. And I'm privileged to be with Racing New South Wales. They got good.
This horse has been a little bit maligned. There's his tenacity to win races. Well, he's put that to bed today, surely.
He's won the main one.
Neville Morgan, your own. We don't see much of Taylor's situation with
Murray. Just does he get asked, but well, that's, in my opinion, this is what racing's all about. I mean, you're torn between probably a weight special in a race and an absolute favourite, which that's how it has been for 3 years. And I mean, basically, I've just had to stay out of it and let everything take its course. But I feel sorry for everyone involved for the last week, really, because it was more probably upsetting to them, but I was very happy to ride whichever horse I got on. So,
well, you do a lot of riding for Chris as well, and he's
just stayed as close to her backside as I could, and the horse done the rest. He attacked the line today, which was important, obviously, because he hit the front a fair way from home. But I think it was Road to Rock. It was coming at us very strong, but he kept fighting, and he's very gallant today, which is a good sign.
You're surprised. Stage Rangi Rangdu, son of Pentyre for Nash and Chris beating Road to Rock. More to come on that story with Damien Oliver, suspended for 3 weeks, overweight. Brilliant Light, almost around the race. Outstanding performance. Typhoon Tracy at the Randwick Equine Centre at the moment after being galloped on in the near hind fetlock. So I hope all is okay with her. But Nash, take us through it from the top of the straight as we watch it.
Well, look, I was very happy with the way Rangy travelled. He put himself in a lovely spot, and just a few anxious moments there with Drumbeat sort of trying to hold him in for a few strides. But once he was able to get into the clear, he's certainly attacked the line and.
Well, you weren't going to let him not attack the line, were you? Your fantastic record now, isn't he? 19 starts, 9 wins, a Group 1 and 9 placings. He's never really let you down.
He only failed once in the McKinnon. That was on a quick backup after a mile and up to 2,000 metres. Other times he's always been in the first three. And he's ran this preparation. He's run first or second in all 5 of his runs and 2 seconds to.
Yeah. Of course, he is the upper echelon of horses in the country, and that their main goal, of course, is a Cox Plate. You won the Wood for Crystal Mile last year. Is obviously a target for him, isn't it, the Cox Plate?
Oh, now we've won our Group 1. Obviously, you can dream and look at those types of races, but until yesterday, it certainly wasn't. And we'll give him a Cox Plate preparation, and if he happens to be there on the day, once again, we'll use it to the last race to see if he gets the trip, the ultimate trip. And
yeah, it was an enormous run. We had a great run in the race and fought it out really strongly and showed his liking for the Randwick Mile. Yeah, ran super. Didn't have much luck from the early. Sort of had a bit of cover early, took probably the 1,000, then got sort of spread out 3 and 4 deep. Certainly toughed it right out to the line. I thought it was a terrific run, and sort of I think it shows that the.
He's probably not as suited at these big field handicaps because he's only a little horse and he didn't like the hustle bustle of first grade, so to speak. But back to weight for age, he's going to be competitive in whatever he runs in.
Didn't handle it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the track we wanted today. We wanted a good surface and hasn't ended up that way. And we drew in the west part of the Golden. So she was still gallant today, I think, and there's credit in the run.
Looking into the race, not us. She towed me in for about half a furlong, and then she put the white flag up pretty quickly. So that's not her. We know that. So we'll just have to. I think she raced a bit tired, so she's probably going to go straight to the paddock now. And we'll look forward to spring.
Not putting it down to the.
Damien Oliver suspended for 3 weeks out of the race after coming back 1.3 kilos overweight. Now, obviously, you're allowed up to 0.99. He was a further 0.4 kilos over that. He had to change his girth yesterday, and also he said he had a drink of water. 3 weeks, Rich, long neck, a half neck, the margin. I mean, you can try and do maths and come up with a pineapple.
Yeah, well, he rode it a treat, didn't he? Ollie? So he rode the horse a treat. Obviously, it's one of those things. He's got a great record over his career. 3 weeks in such a feature race, I think Ollie's probably lucky in that regard, but he'll ride next. Other two, Chris, Dan Lee, Huey just said, I thought his run was great. And I thought Triple Honour's run was good. They run 1st, 5th, 7th.
Yeah, Dan Lee was back 3 wide at the tail of the field and had to come around them all, and it was just impossible through no one's fault.
He rang do. Well, he deserved a good Group 1. There's no doubt about it. He's been knocking on the door, just got the right date, and he got the money. Good horse.
All right, now their best, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. Danley I thought was unlucky, just a barrier draw. He was back 3 wide last, and had to come around them. And I don't think you can sort of do that with a big weight and against these types of horses.
So what to next? We've got Rangy Rangdu. He gets obviously the Queen Elizabeth's on the table.
Yeah, it certainly is on the table. He'll be nominated for that race, but his only failure came about in the McKinnon Stakes last year, and go through the same thing. I did mention to Hugh Bowman last week, and Hugh's eagerly awaiting our reply, I'm sure.
Just watching him here and watching him from the low angle shot that we saw before, he did get well in front of Road to Rock, and Road to Rock sort of kept coming back at him. Do you think he waits for horses at times?
He's a very friendly horse. He just likes to
do you
go.
Reckon he does? Because some horses do that. They do like to, wait.
I think he's racing just to the absolute best of his ability, and that's it. I don't think there's anything left there at the finish.
Tracy, we must speak of her.
Yeah, well, she was very disappointing.
Indeed. Now, of the Beaten Brigade, Typhoon Tracy, we must speak of her.
Yeah, well, she was very disappointing.
Got galloped on.
Yeah, she got galloped on, and you could see at that stage where Typhoon Tracy usually switches off. She didn't, and I think that was because the horse got on her heels, and it could well have been Rangy Rangdu getting on her heels when Nolan's steadied up. So. Look, she's a great mare, and we can't begrudge her one bad. We can forgive her one bad run, but the race didn't It wasn't without controversy. The second horse weighed in 1.3 kilos heavy, Road to Rock. I don't know if there's a lot of punters will say, well, it's cost it victory and blah, 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 blah.
I know Damien got he's got a
3 week
suspension out of that. But just on that, there were some mitigating circumstances there. He did have a girth change, which he wasn't aware of, I believe. It was changed by the trainer because the girth he supplied wouldn't go around the horse.
It was 100 grams. That was an extra 100 grams.
Was that they
That's
weighed?
why they weighed him. Okay.
Well, he's had a drink.
And the packing, they had the horse was sweating. So all in all, you could make a leverage for 0.3.
Yeah.
300 grams. Okay.
Well,
So he's coming a kilo heavy.
Yeah, that's disappointing. But I guess his good record over the last 20 years or nearly probably weighs heavily for him as well. But disappointing. I don't
come from the back of Burke in South Australia to be at Flemington. Maybe this fella's taking the same path. The little battler from South Australia in the Group 1 James Bogue Galaxy. 9 to Lightning Ridge, heavily backed as your sporting bet market mover. $8 in the...
Tensia drifting out again. She's out to $4.40. So if she does get back, it's been very hard to make ground here. Very few horses have run on from the back bar. Parables and Faint Perfume, and they weren't able to win. They were outstanding runs, but has been a day dominated by horses maybe just off the speed. Rather attention just bouncing around. Gates are back, seeking attention, missed the start. Also a little bit slowly out was Rostover. Motspur and Gold Trail were the best into stride. Definitely ready going up along the inside to join them shortly afterwards, and not all that far away is Shell Scrape. Motspur settling on the back of the leaders, and it looks like Swift Alliance going up in the middle there as well, followed by Mount Verde, Friday Creek and Striker. Then seeking attention. Further back behind them next is Typhoon Z, Rostover, a long way back with Dorf Command, and Hortensia's back at the rear of the field. Definitely ready led, but he's hanging out off the track. He's not getting around the bend all that well. He's out towards the centre. Boss trying to steer him around the bend. Led from Motspur coming up to join him. He's running right off the track here. Definitely ready. Crashed into Motspur. Gold Trail on the outside from Shell Scrape. Swift Alliance in the middle. Striker and Rostover are running on Hortensia's down the outside fence. It's Gold Trail moving up to join this one. Definitely ready. Here comes Hortensia. Hortensia from last is storming down the outside. She hits the lead, Hortensia, and she'll go on and win it from either Shell Scrape or Swift Alliance. Then Striker, followed further back behind them by Rostover from Dorf Command. Then Mount Verde. Then at the head of the others, Motster. Gold Trail definitely ready. Well, he couldn't steer it, followed by Friday Creek. And then came seeking attention to Lightning Ridge, and Typhoon Z finished last of all.
She is a Group 1 mare, Hortensia. She has done a super job. Craig Williams right at the back of the field. He's come out the widest runner for Tony Noonan and taken out the James Bogue Galaxy for 2010. There he is pushing.
I tell you, I was worried in the run, Bruce, because it looked like it was going to pan out as we thought. And I couldn't get up in the stand. I like to watch races in the stand, and I couldn't see it because I'm so small. And I was just hoping that there'd be something right down the outside. And when I saw that black hat coming, I knew, she's got an emphatic finish. She's just brilliant. I'd love to know what she ran her last 400 in, but she's probably spotted them 12 at one stage, and just awesome mare.
A great mare.
Just enormous.
To win a Group 1 first up, as it all goes well for this campaign.
Well, there's 5 that we've planned to have a crack at. So it was an awesome sort of plan, but you get great confidence when you train good horses. And
well, what a good result. Testarossa, we remember him, his great battles that he had with the Reduced Choice English Premier Yearling Sale graduate, this one from Riverside Park.
To do it. She was fantastic. Craig Williams back-to-back, winning with Nakoni the previous year. Shell Scrape, another Group 1 second. Nash on Swift Alliance running third, but I don't think you can make excuses here. She was terrific, Hortensia, and a bit of... I suppose, even though you couldn't win, Nash, Tony Noonan, one of the first trainers to give you a real break here in racing.
Absolutely, Bruce. Tony and I, have been great mates for many years now, and obviously, I was rapt to see him go up there and do that. But he's had such a high opinion of it for so long, and
yeah, the winner, she was very, very good. The second horse was outstanding as well. He copped the biggest backwash win, definitely ready, ran off the track and flattened them all. But she was most impressive, the winner. Third and fourth were both good. Swift Alliance was honest. Striker was good. I thought Gold Trail's run was full of merit too. Did it tough from the bad barrier, the big weight. And he got a lot of the backwash, of course, when he definitely ready to come out. I thought his effort was good.
Yeah, they probably all ran to their best, Mark, but
Yeah,
the winner was better.
Close to the run of the day for sure. The winner, wasn't it? And
Second
on
best
ground that probably didn't suit us well.
Yeah.
We've seen her fail in the wet before. She was beaten as a short price favourite in Sydney last year. She went to Melbourne and was beaten by Strawberry Field. So she is much better on top of the ground, but she got through it well yesterday and had to run a sensational sectional to do it.
She's got a big campaign.
She's outstanding. She's as explosive mare as you've ever seen, and she's lethal, fresh. She'll go to, I think she's going to Singapore now to take on that Chris Flyer, and maybe back for the Stradbroke in Queensland where there's unfinished business there. But look, she's just outstanding. We've seen her do this in the past, not so much on dead to slow track, so that's another feather in her cap. She's probably better when she finds the rock hard track, but all goes well for a good preparation.
A shell scrape, Chris. It looked, it might have been a touch unlucky. He did get crashed into at the top of the straight there, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was unlucky. No disrespect to the winner, but yeah, we thought we could have finished closer and certainly pushed the winner. But it was just good to see him find his form again. He's a serious horse. He's had, I think, 3 Group 1 placings now, and each 3 runs he hasn't had the best of luck, so it was good to see him back in form.
Including the 4 big Group 1s, and Sydney Cup Day is drawing a big crowd already into Al Dafra. He is a Canberra Guineas winner, and he also comes through the Carbine Club Stakes win last time out over Euphemism.
Yep, let's go right down to now. Number 1, Al Dafra. So out to $2.50. Number 2, Euphemism.
At least a length and a half behind them, and she's back second or third last. King Sabine, the best out. Euphemism came out very quickly. And from that favourable draw today, is going to race closer up in second, still back at the tail of the field. So it's about 7 or 8 lengths off the lead, Al Dafra, as they come down towards the 650, where the leader is King Sabine, a half a length in front. On the outside, Landlocked is next, and then came She's My Darling. Euphemism is right on the back of the leaders. He's about to stoke up now. He's peeling out 3 wide, McAvoy. Viking Hero next, and then came back on the inside, She's My Darling from Dariana. Lentini Drallion, and Al Dafra still sees them all coming to the extreme outside as they start to sprint and giving the leaders about 5 lengths. Euphemism went up and hit the lead with King Sabine Landlocked, and then Dariana getting a split. Al Dafra is right down the outskirts of the track. Dariana came through to challenge. Dariana rushed through and took the lead from Euphemism. Dariana just in front, and the filly wins at Dariana. Beat Euphemism, third home Viking Hero. And then came Al Dafra, followed by She's My Darling, Landlocked and Lentini, King Sabine, and last in Drallion.
Dariana for Bart Cummings and Michael Rod takes out the Frank Packer plate. The filly beating the all these horses have to do, even from his hospital bed. And there's the result. Dariana, $6.60, $1.80.
Beats the boys there. Perhaps goes to Queensland for the Oaks there, but Dariana just maturing nicely, and there was as much as $10 bet about Dariana.
Yeah, Brad Smites rang us before the race and said that the punters only want 2 horses. The number 2 that Kieran McAvoy rode, that you have a go at me all the time.
The Euphemism.
Euphemism. I just can't get it right, can I?
There's no end in it.
And Dariana was the sporting bet market mover. You watch this replay and you go back and watch how the day unfolded and how much start. Al Dafra's run was outstanding.
Yeah, just got in the wrong spot, didn't it? Tempo, the race didn't suit. I got to agree. I think.
No surprise to you yesterday, James?
Look, it wasn't. She did miss the start, but as the race panned out, thank God she did. They went hard in front.
Yeah.
It aided her cause. She improved up on from the half mile on the bit, cruised up to them. Although she found it a little hard to get out, she did so, and she's got a good turn of foot. We knew that, and with a little bit of race fitness from her Adrian Knox run, she certified the opinion that we've had of her for a long time now.
Yeah. Will she go? Is it set in concrete that she goes to Queensland, or is that decision yet to be made?
Well, it's yet to be made. It's penciled in.
Did Dafra lose any fans?
Not at all. Not at all. He was terrific, and yeah, look, as
the Moet and Shandon Champagne Stakes for the 2-year-olds, only one of them coming through the Golden Slipper. That is Beneteau, and he is currently the favourite at $5. But Richie is trading with
cut favourite. Number 1, Beneteau, trying to rewrite all the record books about missing a place in the slipper, missing the sires and coming to the Moet and Shandon Champagne. $5.50 best price bet. Now $4.60 colours. $5.50 to $4.60. Number 1, Beneteau, and he's your sporting bet market mover. 2 Actoffs, Sasa, $5 out to $8. Scratch 14 and 15. Iron Lace.
Jose from gate number 1 hesitated, went back towards the tail. Best out, bot over Mellow and led from going up on the outside. Iron Lace, the Ruffian was handy and so was Skill. Veneto settling in a forward spot. Chula Vista going up out wide and so too was Sasa. Then came Anachi, so too was Sasa. Then came Anachieva, Fashion back on the inside midfield from Kuta Kalari. Jose striding up into second, bot over Mellow is third. And then came Skill, followed by Sasa. No luck for it. Posted out 3 wide on a limb. The Ruffian was next, followed by Anachieva. Just being passed by Beneteau, striding up ahead of it, followed by Fashion. And then came Turaktoff and Jose. Then Kuta Kalari. Divorces a long way back, but starting to edge up 3 and 4 wide. Presido back on the fence and last is Shadows in the Sun. Iron Lace under a tight hold is the leader from Chula Vista and Sasa. Then came Beneteau coming up on the outside of Skill, so it's within striking distance, Beneteau. Bot over Mellows on the inside as they turn for home. And then came Anachieva. It's Iron Lace just in front as they top the rise. Sasa went up on the outside with Chula Vista. Skill's running on down the outside and so is Beneteau. Skill racing up now to challenge Sasa. Beneteau on the outside is next and there's a wall of horses with Divorces coming. It's Sasa and Skill finding it out. Sasa and Skill as they draw down to the line. And Skill has won it. Skill has beaten Sasa, and I'm not sure third. Divorces and Achiever and Jose were close up. And then Presido, followed further back in behind them by Turaktoff. Beneteau died on his run, and then bot over Mellow, followed by Iron Lace, Shadows in the Sun, and then came the Ruffian, followed by Fashion, and back at the tail of the field was Chula Vista.
Pete Snowden and Josh Parr take out the first Group 1 here on Sydney Cup Day. The Champagne Stakes going the way of number 3, Skilled, on the rise. Look at him stretch his head out. Good on you, Josh Parr. Well done to Pete Snowden, Sheikh Mohammed. The
horse is running great. It's just been a bit of bad luck and a little bit of pilot error, but that's racing, and that's one thing I have learned over the years. It's only a matter of time and things will turn, and they've gone our way today.
No pilot error here for young Josh Parr. Great thrill for him, his first Group 1.
Payne just beat Sasa, an absolute lip. And Divorces runs third. The Snowden pair first.
On Skilled, we'll analyse the victory celebration and see if Tim got it right. Sasa was fantastic. Divorce is fantastic. A heap of huge runs here. We'll get to them. Anachiever, Peter Kalari, a stack of good runs in the race. But let's talk about the winner who had to withstand protest. We'll show the incident here. Josh, you take us through it from your end.
Yeah, I was quite surprised, Bruce, when the protest was lodged. It's happened at the 1400 metre mark, and Ty's horse missed the kick, which I believe is what cost him the race, not the interference. I had merged over inside Craig Williams's heels before any interference had happened, and Ty had put himself inside my heels, and that's when a bit of the jostling happened. And when I went to Group 1 race since I was about 5 years old, I went past the post and I was that shocked and excited I had nothing. That's jeez, very disappointing. I don't know. I'm still shocked. One out and one back underneath Beneteau, who drew barrier 5. I don't know how that happened, but it was just a terrific ride, and it was the difference between winning and losing. I don't know where to look here. There's horses galore that are unlucky. The second horse should have bolted in. Protest was dismissed, understandably so, but missing the start cost it the race and having no cover. Up on the inside, Presido and the Orange had no luck. Turaktoff had no luck. The fourth horse had no luck, and Achiever. I don't know. This might be a rubbish race. There's a 2 lengths or 3 lengths covering the whole field, but
it is a bit of a question mark on it, isn't it? Because that is a blend.
But you know what these 2-year-olds are like. Some will go to the paddock and come back and improve, and
true.
some will just go backwards.
It's true, but right now you have to say that there's not much between a lot.
There's
of
a few horses.
The Moet and
there's a mistakes. One, the Emirates Doncaster winner, Ringy Ring Do's not running. Road to Rock. I'll tell you what. They're going back into the room. Runs out. Road to Rock, $3.30 out to $3.50. Dr. Fremantle, $4.40 out to the $5 mark and 50 cents. Now, I just spoke to Brett Smythe from Sporting Bet Australia. He said 4 runners. 4 runners, he said. 2 Road to Rock, 3 Dr. Fremantle, 5 Von Romney, and Palazzo de Crystal. He said that's what all that move at $10 into $6.50. I'm not with you. So if it wins, good luck there. The market moves have been on
the scene. And he's $10 into $6.50. Police had a missed it probably by a length and a half to 2 lengths. Wasn't all that badly served, but he's picking up ground very quickly along the inside with the muddling speed in the early stages. And it's Miss Mariel left in front early on. Von Romane, Triple Honour and Monaco Consul are going up out wide on the track, and just in behind them, Dr. Fremantle. So here lobbing to a nice spot back on the rail. Monaco Consul in front as they go to the next corner near the 1,000. Miss Mariel right on its tail in second spot from Von Romane. Dr. Fremantle goes up on the fence to shade it now from Triple Honour as they drop the speed off, and then Road to Rock. Vision and Power second last, Palacio de Crystal last of all. So no change in the order, nobody making a move as yet. 800 to go. And Monaco Consul from Miss Mariel just striding up a little bit closer up to its quarters. Dr. Fremantle third. And then came Von Romane, and Bowman's the first to make a move on Triple Honour. He starts to stride up quickly now to go to third, and Road to Rock will get onto his back. Vision and Power second last, and Palacio de Crystal still back last of all. So as they near the turn, and Monaco Consul flat to the boards now as Miss Mariel went up to challenge a Triple Honour on the outside. Dr. Fremantle waits for a run. He's about to come across their heels. Road to Rock was next from Von Romane, who just was flat-footed there. It's Monaco Consul, Triple Honour. Here's Road to Rock. He's chiming in fast on the outside. Road to Rock raced up and hit the lead with Triple Honour. Road to Rock shot away. He was second in the Doncaster. He weighed in overweight, but he's got the cash today. And Road to Rock comes in to win it. Beat Triple Honour, third home Monaco Consul. Then came Von Romane from Vision and Power, Palacio de Crystal. Dr. Fremantle, every possible, didn't run on, and last in was Miss Mariel.
Oh, great scenes down here. Anthony Cummings, Bernie Cummings hugging, and that is a great result for them. To get the Group 1 again with Road to Rock. Damien Oliver.
Disappointed what might have been, but doesn't take long to turn it round.
That's all right. I just hope the AJC swapped the checks from last week to this week.
Because there was a major difference in the prize money. But Anthony, it looked very easy in the run, didn't it?
What he did today is probably a reflection of the way he's been this week. Like he really, as well as he went in the Doncaster, he really picked up and sort of found another gear coming into this race. Just let me hear.
What about spring for him, Anthony? What would you like to have a look at?
Well, I mean, honestly, we're trying to find a home for him at stud. Certainly today won't be any harm in that area. The immediate plan is probably to go to Singapore. There's a race over there in a few weeks' time with about 3 million, so we might go and have a look at that.
A good horse team up there at Willow Park for $100,000 to Anthony. There are the English interims, $3.30, $1.40 the winner, $2.90 for Triple Honour and $2.10 Monaco Consul.
Finally, a Group 1 win for Road to Rock. And in the end, it was a pretty simple one as D. Oliver steered for victory. $3.30 favourite, beating Triple Honour good. Monaco Consul, very good again. Anthony Cummings joined us.
And the softer option was the one in Melbourne. Went down there and all but got away with it. When he came back, he was always still half that run behind. And we elected to go to the Randvet, basically to stretch him out over 2,000, give him a tough run, and make sure that he was going to be cherry right for Doncaster today, which is pretty much the way it turned out.
Well, he didn't have much luck in the Randvet, did he? Had to go forward. And
wide gate, and it was nice to turn the tables.
Do you feel as though Doncaster was one that got away? I mean, you could argue it's all mathematical and science to say that the weight made a difference. We could argue that it doesn't, because you've got such a great rider who's ridden the perfect race.
Well, that's the thing. As I said to Hal, one of the owners, I mean, if Ollie needed to drink to feel right and go out and ride his best race and have his head on straight, well, I mean, have 2 drinks, So
saying that straight after Ollie weighed in.
I was going to say, I was a bit stunned at that.
What? Mention of lunch or something. Singapore, he's a tough sort of. He's been around a lot. You wouldn't think the trip to Singapore was going to be any.
I don't think it'll worry him at all. And I think the conditions over there will.
We came very close last week in the Doncaster. And there are a few, it's strange but unfortunate circumstances there.
Yeah.
And we were vindicated yesterday in the Queen Elizabeth, which was great to see.
Okay. Well, look, the Triple Honour, he ran up to his Doncaster run. He just didn't finish off at the 2,000 metres, and he probably got on his high horse a bit early there. He started to pull at the 800 and just gassed him at the finish there. And Dr. Fremantle, the well-touted horse who paraded in the yard like he owned it, he did absolutely nothing. But by all reports, he's pulled up pretty sore. So maybe we can make an excuse for him, maybe not. But all honest with the winner, there's no doubt about it. He backed up his good Doncaster performance and put another Group win on the table. And how many Group 1 winners is that for Anthony this year? He's had a tremendous season.
Yeah,
Group 1 wise.
It's been 5 Group 1s for the season.
That is my biggest number ever?
Yeah, absolutely. I think prior to...
This is the Schweppes Sydney Cup, and there's been money for a number of these horses, including the 3 Zabeel, Zavit, Precedence, and also Jessica Biel. And great to see Sir Patrick Hogan here from New Zealand, of course, one of the owners of Precedence.
Yeah, most definitely. Number 1 here, Zavit. in the swept Sydney Cup. $5.50 back into the $5 mark. So $5.50 number one. Early money, Zavit.
They're $4.90 each of two, so they're better with the bookies. About a half a point better in what looks to be a wide open betting affair. Precedence $6.50 with bookies, $7.50 on the tote. Harris to crash back, and they're off and racing, and they're off and missed the start by a couple of lengths. She settles at the tail of the field. No Wine, No Song began fast. Zavit's up there with Divine Rebel, and they make a line of three in the early stages. Harris Tweed just in behind them on the rail. And then came on the outside, spin around, going up to fifth, one off the rail from Precedence, who's midfield, as they run up towards the first bend. Get Up Jude's behind, away from the inside. He was going a little bit keen, and Oliver's going to take off by the looks of it. He rushes up and goes for the front now at the 2,000 metres. He's going keenly, Zavit, and he pulls his way to the lead now and takes over from Divine Rebel. No Wine, No Song is third. Then came 3/4 to Harris Tweed. Spin around racing on its own in fifth, and then Get Up Jude, followed by Precedence, who looks to make a move down the back stretch to improve, and then came further back, spin around from Get Up Jude. Moatees was next, followed on the inside by Cape Cover, Latorio, and Jessica Beale back last of all. 1,200 to go, and Zavit's the leader. Precedence has sustained that run to move up on the outside, and he goes up to second. He's a neck off the lead now, and then came No Wine, No Song and Divine Rebel. So the pace is on, about 4 or 5 lengths to Harris Tweed, 3 to spin around and Get Up Jude. Then a gap in the field to Moatees. He started to be niggered along, followed by Cape Cover. Jessica Beale is second last, and Latorio being hard ridden is at the back of the field. 800 to go. Zavit just in front. Precedence on his outside, making him work a little bit. Then came Divine Revel and No Wine, No Song. Harris Tweed about to make his move now. Rod Peel's out 3 and 4 wide. Then Get Up Jude, Cape Cover, followed by Spin Around, and at the head of the others, Jessica Beale is looking to come away from the inside. Moatees is second last, and Latorio can't win. Into the straight, and Zavit just in front of Precedence and Harris Tweed. Divine Rebel is over on the inside. Jessica Beale starting to work into it. She's coming on strongly. Divine Rebel took the lead at the 200 from Harris Tweed. Jessica Beale has weaved away into the clear, and she's about to pounce on them on the outside. Jessica Beale raced up and took the lead with 100 metres to go in the Sydney Cup from Divine Rebel, and Jessica Beale goes on to win it. Another second for Divine Rebel in the Cup. Harris Tweed third. Then Cape Cover and Get Up Jude at the head of the others, Moatees, followed by Spin Around, and then Precedence and Zavit, who just went a little bit quick, followed by Latorio, and last in was No Wine, No Song.
Jessica Bill takes out the 2010 Schweppes Sydney Cup for John O'Shea. What a good training performance by him.
Jessica Bill, she does the chairman's Sydney Cup double. Jessica Bill, too good.
The Cup works out nicely sometimes. Yeah, occasionally you get it right. Fantastic ride. Didn't help itself early, but he got to a beautiful spot about the half mile and tracked in beautiful. The key for her, she's got a lovely turn of foot, and she just out-sprinted him. Patience, which Craig showed, they really helped win this race. Yeah, look, he's probably a lot more patient than me, because at the 1200, I think, oh, son, what are you doing? But anyway, it worked out in our favour, and we got a little bit of luck, and we were due for it, and it's been a wonderful result.
The great Mackay Diva. It had already won a Melbourne Cup before it won a Sydney Cup, but correct weight there. Jessica Biel, $4.90 and $2. Divine Rebel, just a terrific run for Mike Moroney. And
the 13th start wins the Group 1 Sydney Cup by Zabeel, part bred by Peter Moody. $5 favourite she ran yesterday, and Craig knew it. His second Group 1 race in Sydney. Quick overall time, plenty of flops. We'll get to them later. But it was a patient ride here, Johnny, as you look for Craig just manoeuvring to the right spot.
Yeah, well, to go, obviously Harris Street was one of the chances. He got on its back, just turned it for home, and it just did enough to bring him into the race, and he got a beautiful run through.
Is she an improving stay? I mean, I know she's won, now she's a Group 1 winner, but is there a lot more to come from her?
I think, being a Zabeel 4-year-old, you'd have to say that her best is yet to come. She just needs to improve a little bit going forward to the spring, and obviously improve her gait manners and on casters and the like. Yesterday seen... I know you're emotional, but it seemed more emotional with Jason Abrahams yesterday. I mean, that's what it's like in this game, as you know, Rich, it's all ups and downs. Of course it is. And Jason and his family have been there right at the start, and they've been there through good times, and of course, you occasionally have bad times, and it's just very, very rewarding,
Precedence did themselves no favours by pulling hard, and Latorio was just horrible. Nigel Blackiston telling perhaps it needs a soft track, Rich, but a couple of flops there.
Yeah, there was. Like Zavit, his own worst enemy, he just got keen real early, yet You know, even when he won in New Zealand, I think I watched the race with Johnny when he won in New Zealand. It still seemed to tug that little bit that day, but he was back in the field yesterday. He was up on top.
Out as a Melbourne Cup mare. He's looking pretty strong for the Melbourne Cup, John O'Shea. He's got this mare who's you know, a Zabeel, only 4-year-old, and got the ability to relax and sprint, which you need in a modern day stayer. And he's got Zabrasive, who was well up in the, you know, in the Derby. So he's looking strong with a couple of Zabeels come the spring. But look, all honours with her, she was going to win this a long way out. Knew it, rode her beautifully. He sort of had him covered on the turn and didn't panic. The second mare, Divine Rebel, she was as brave as. She ran second in this race last year, and she was the only survivor of the on-pace horses here. And Harris Tweed had his chance, and look, Cape Cover ran well. He's just very dour, Cape Cover, but a few disappointments in the race. But look, all honours to the winner, she's got plenty of upside, in my opinion.
I thought Harris Tweed would win at one stage there. He loomed up, but he just didn't. He might not quite get the 2 miles. I don't know. Although he battled on quite well there at the finish. But I'd have to say, look, the pace of the race sort of played into that mare's hands, because the pace was probably a fair bit stronger. And when she missed the start and Froggy didn't go forward, he had the pace there to actually have him in the right spot. And the pace was created by the respective gentlemen's horses here. Now, what was said halfway through, there must have been, well, your horse, Zavit, he was having a little bit of a pull. He was tugging, so Damien took him to the front to get him to relax. Then your horse came up outside him. That made it worse for him.
Mm. Yeah, no, it wasn't what we had expected. In a race where just about everyone thought there would be no speed, there ended up being a ton of it. And I mean, all credit to John's horse. You know, she performed very well on the day.
Zavit, what's going to happen with him?
He'll go out for a break, just to the Water Walker.
It's coming up soon, the Daily Telegraph All-Age Stakes. Micmac's trainer, Greg Urell, now with Bruce Clark.
Well, Micmac had the one run at Sydney, and Huey Bowman, I think, thinks he's learned a bit about the horse. Right. Yeah, well, it's been very well back, Micmac Clarkie. But let's go from the top on the sweeps board here for the, of course, the Daily Telegraph for the leading papers, all-age stakes. Number 1, Dan Lee, the defending champ, at a different program. 4 out to 440. Micmac, 390, now into 370. Metalbender, $31. Mr. Baritone, triple figures, 101. The girl who's the favourite girl of Sydney, she's been a drifter, 440 out to $5.50. Beaten, 15 into 12, a little bit of specking at odds.
Move in. Micmac is the $3.70 tote favourite, and also the same price in the ring. $4 for Dan Lee, who's 40 cents longer here on track, and Melito at $5.40. Stand well, and the gates are back there, off and racing. Metalbender and Reva Sand both missed the start. Hot Danish was the best out, and she lands in front from Melito and Beated shortly after the start. Micmac's on their tail. Wider out Mr. Baritone, and then came Demerit sliding up near the inside from Tickets, followed by Dan Lee. He's just past midfield and out a little bit wide early on. Illuminates was next, followed further back by Metalbender in the centre, and two to Reva Sand last of all. But Clark took Hot Danish to the front, and around the first bend, it's just the leader from Mr. Baritone pulling its way up on the outside to go up and worry Hot Danish. Micmac right on the hammer in third position, and then came Melito getting a good run fourth on the rail. Beated was next from the stablemate Demerit from Tickets. Then came Illuminates. Danley a long way back and out a little bit wide still, and then came Metalbender and Reva Sandback last of all. So Hot Danish, she's looking for a first Group 1. Will she get home today? She leads around the bend here from Mr. Baritone. Melito is next. Micmac swinging out a little bit wider on the track, followed by Demerit, and then came Beated coming down the outside with Tickets. He's still holding Hot Danish together. She leads from Melito coming up on the inside, then Micmac. Hot Danish in front. Clark goes full board now. She's a neck in front of Melito. Down the outside, Beated's running on, but it's Hot Danish's day today. Hot Danish is going to lead all the way, and she beat Melito. Beated got third, so the mares 1, 2, 3. Then came Illuminates finishing fourth, followed by in behind them Micmac, and then at the head of the others we had Mr. Baritone, followed by Demerit, Metalbender, Danley, Reva Sand, and last in was Tickets.
What a great roar from the crowds here at Royal Randwick. This popular mare finally has her Group 1 after so many placings. She has been a dominant mare up here in Sydney, Hot Danish, and she thoroughly deserved that. Look at the ears pinned back. She's turned the tables on Melito, who beat her last week. Tim Clark riding out his favourite mare for dear life, and she's taken it.
Coming. It's just frustrating when you see her struggling around on bad tracks. You know, today is the first time she's ever come into a Group 1 race on a good track.
Very satisfying for you, though, isn't it?
Well, it's great for her because she is a great mare. I think she's as good a mare as there is in Australia in the dry. That's my opinion.
Great for Tim to beat that. Do you really like her now?
I love her.
Good on you. Well done, Les. Les Bridge and Hot Danish. She gets a Group 1, Carolyn.
At Randwick would have loved to have seen her win. Johnny O'Shea's behind me. Looks like a boxer out of the contender. He was given a punch when Hot Danish kicked away. There's Timmy Clark.
You were thrilled for Josh Barrett. You were first on the fence to congratulate him.
Yeah, definitely. We've been good mates for a long time now, and after next week we'll be brother-in-law. So we live together and that, and it meant a lot to see him ride his first Group 1 winner. So I sort of watch how hard he works, and he really deserved it. And it was a good day for us both, the happy household.
For sure, it was meant to happen.
2, 3.
Well, after 7 Group 1 seconds, she finally gets a Group 1 victory, and no one would deny her that. Hot Danish. But at the $7, would you believe it? Melite's second beat it. The girls 1, 2, 3, 4 in the race. Because Mark Sheehan didn't tip the horse Hot Danish yesterday. He's been banished to the bench. Before we get the bloke who rode it.
Was able to establish me and sort of put me on the map a little bit, and she's done a great job.
As you said, Typhoon Z gave you a Group 1, but this horse is much loved by not just yourself and Les, but by the racing public, which is great.
Yeah, that's right. She's got a lot of followers, and you can tell that too when you're riding her, all the support you get from the fans and everyone.
Race yesterday, though. Tim, were you surprised that you were able to dictate on your terms?
Didn't look to be a lot of speed in the race. Sort of as soon as the acceptances come out, that sort of stood out. There looked to be a lack of speed. Got back onto the course proper, got left alone and had a nice easy run, and just wanted to make sure yesterday that on a good track I knew she'd outsprint them, so I just wanted to make sure I was sort of the last one to go. And I knew that sort of her acceleration, she should be able to get a couple of lengths break on them and be able to hold them off.
You look like your grandmother with a little born baby.
Too easy a run in front. My horse had a great run, and she sprinted really quickly. The winner just on her day, and when she gets a run like that, she's dynamic. But
Roger Elliott said to me before the race, he said this mare's just.
Look, there may have only been 20,000 people there, but they lined the fence, they cheered, and they really lifted the stand. Considering there was, like I say, there was only 20,000 people there. They love this mare. And she is a dry tracker. There's no doubt about it. She's like getting in a car and putting your foot to the floor and. In the wet, your wheels will spin. Her legs spin in the wet, but when she gets on top of the ground, she can explode. And she did that, breaking 34 seconds the last 600 yesterday. Admittedly, the race was run to suit her, but that's how it panned out on paper, and that's how it eventuated.
When do you get too many Group 1 wins when the race is not run to suit you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just part of Group 1 racing. You've got to get them to run to suit you. But I like the way Timmy nursed her for as long as possible. There must have been a temptation to go.
I think Les may have had a word in his ear last time he was, chasing one of Joe Pride's speedsters and whatever. But
isn't Melito a genuine Group 1 horse now?
Well, she won the TJ, and
she's a genuine. But you could have thought, well, that might have been a flash in the pan, one out of a box. But she's backed it up again and confirmed that, franked that. So she's a very good filly as well, good mare now, and. But, I don't think any of the connections of any horse that finished behind Hot Danish would begrudge her that Group 1 win.
And you've got to give it to the connections. They're very loyal. They've stuck with Tim all the way through there, through thick and thin, through disappointments, highs and lows. It doesn't happen often in racing anymore.
I might give you a look quickly at the WA